But even Bryson, like, I've seen it now. I've kind of seen it, and it's not that... like, if it was Happy Gilmore running up to the golf ball every time, I'd want to watch it every single time.
Yeah.
But
what do you think of the Masters? Rick's hand is on his heart, by the way.
Well, my hand is on my heart. What did I think of the Masters? Well, I think this year was different.
I can't allow you to have your hand on your heart.
This year was definitely different to any that I've experienced in the past, and I can only put that down to the fact there was a Masters only 5 months ago in November. I just don't feel that there was the buzz that you normally get. And I remember when it happened in November, and I said to you, "Oh, wouldn't it be awesome if it was like twice a year?" And you went, "No, because it's almost it's too much of a good thing."
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what's happened this year.
It's like the Ryder Cup every year. Sounds good on paper, doesn't it? But it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't work at all. So yeah, I was a bit kind of going into it. It kind of also here in the UK, certainly in England, it's been a bit weird this year because it feels like golf hasn't really started at all until the 29th of March, and then the week after it was the Masters. So it's been a big, nice kind of jet-infused start for golf here in England. But it just kind of came out of nowhere, really. Also, it felt a bit weird. It was a very, very limited field.
Yeah.
Tiger wasn't playing, which I definitely think has a massive effect on
100%.
on my like desire and my, excitement, because bar Bryson, I don't know, you're probably the same on this. Who are you excited about watching this week at the Masters?
I love Tony Finau, but I can't say I'm excited.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there was probably a couple of people that I thought, oh, this could be interesting because of how well they were playing. Someone like a Westwood, thought he'd been playing so well. I would love to. So like, I was anticipated his result, but it wasn't like I was desperate to. I wasn't watching his first tee shot on the first hole. Like, I couldn't wait, like I would do with the Tiger. Like, it makes you really miss Tiger.
Has
those
Tiger
events.
spoilt us though in the last 20 years? Because how many other golfers give you that buzz? Like I said, Bryson a bit at the minute, but
At the
really,
moment,
there's Rory on his peak, to be fair.
Yeah, but even Bryson, like, I've seen it now. I've kind of seen it, and it's not that. Like, if it was Happy Gilmore running up to the golf ball every time, I'd want to watch it every single time.
Yeah.
But I've seen Bryson now bomb it enough times on social media, Instagram, and that's another thing. Does social media almost ruin it a little bit? That kind of, you're not going to see. You get so many opportunities to see a shot.
Yeah,
like the shot that he hit on the 6 at Bay Hill. I mean, I've seen that 1,000 times probably, and then when he comes and steps up on the first tee on the Masters, it's like, I kind of know what this guy's gonna be about.
Yeah. The Masters app was abs. I just want to take a minute now to say, whoever, is it IBM or somebody, whoever does the Masters app,
and this is not a paid sponsorship, it's the best app.
as it's in sliced bread,
and I can't argue. As
it's the best thing since the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, potentially. It's unbelievable. To the point where you could, I wouldn't do this, but you could literally not watch any golf and just use the app.
Yeah.
Because it's that good.
And I did that quite a bit with just different players.
Yeah.
Like, I would say this year again, maybe because we had the studio being built. So last Thursday, Friday was quite busy with the studio being built, and we've got some nice editing suite and everything now. So this kind of taken up a lot of time, and the kids were off for me as well. But like, I didn't feel like I really like watched hours and hours like I have done in the past on the Thursday, Friday. But you can go on the app, and just super quickly, I saw every important shot I wanted to see. Like, I even watched, and it sounds really sad, and this is kind of how, what's the right word? Almost like, sadistic? That's not a word, is it? This sounds kind of weird, I am in the head. I watched every single shot from the guy who came dead last.
Sadistic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see.
You sick man.
Yeah. Who was it again now? It was... And I watched every single shot. It was Joe Long, who's an English player, English amateur. And in the first round, let me just double check what he shot. He shot an 82, which weirdly enough was the same score that I shot in my break 75.
And it's a very similar environment. You know, you had 3 people watching you at a links course with nothing really to play for.
And he birdied the last for that, so I felt like again there were some similarities. And he actually... And this is what mattered. I would have never, ever, ever have seen this without the app. He was inches away from making a 2 on the last. And I mean inches, like literally moved just around the back of the hole. And I wouldn't have seen that without seeing the app. And I watched every single one of his 82 shots.
Well, I think one of the reasons this year I wasn't quite as excited was, well, once it kicked off, was the lack of the big names at the top. And I saw a thing on Twitter from Michael McEwen, who is one of the guys from Bunkered Golf. And this was on, so going into the final day, so at the start of play on Sunday, he's got the world top 20, right, from 1 to 20, and on the right-hand side, he had what the position was. So I'll go through them, but I'll do it quite quickly. So cut, tied 13, tied 21, tied 29, tied 38. Then he had tied second to Xander, who's world number 6, was tied second. Then tied 13, tied 43, tied 21, cut. 9, who was Tony Finau, tied 13, cut, tied 29, and it's tied 47, cut. So out of that, I don't know if that came across in audio, but out of that top 20, there was literally Xander and Tony Finau who were in the top 10. Everybody else was like pretty much out of it.
Mad, wasn't it?
And I know it's the golf isn't just about the big names. There's a lot more than the world top 20 and people to root for and stuff. But it didn't have that. I want to see, personally, and this is what everybody, obviously, I want to see a playoff of Bryson, of Dustin, of Rory, Spieth maybe, or a Westwood in the mix or something like that. So I want to see that.
Yeah.
And it didn't produce. But having said that, it was a worthy winner.
Hideki Matsuyama,
he's a player, isn't he?
Massive shout out. The round he had on Saturday, and again, guys, I know this is a golf podcast, but we don't go into loads and loads of stats about the golf, but obviously it's the Masters. His Saturday round was special. His back nine on Saturday was outrageous. And the way he composed his front nine on Sunday, was borderline boring.
Yeah.
And he was 5 or 6 shots ahead at the halfway point, and all over Twitter, and I think I saw it was a bit boring. It didn't have that grandstand final, but he also didn't disappoint on that because he made some critical errors on the back nine to make it much more of a grandstand finish. Xander Schauffele had a really, really close opportunity. He was within 2 shots at one point after 15, and then Schauffele put it in the water on 16, which I've almost never seen a golfer do on 16.
No, I don't think I have.
I've almost never seen a golfer go on 16 in the water on 16. Tiger's iconic chipping on 16 is so weirdly hit.
Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about it, do they really? It's such a weird place to
because you're always going right on that hole anyway, because of the break, aren't you?
And that was really a shame. But anyway, massive shout out to Hideki Matsuyama. It's huge for Japan, the first male major winner. There has been 2 female major winners before for Japan, but this is the first male, and also to win the Masters. I think it's going to be a massive thing. He's played in it 10 years now. He played in it in the Amateur Championship
2011 he was amateur, yeah.
And he won the amateur title then. What do they call it?
I don't know what it is in the Masters. It's silver medal obviously in the Open, but
best amateur, lowest amateur, whatever. And then 10 years he's got better and better and better. His little pause at the top has definitely reduced.
How obsessed with the commentators with that though, all the time, gone on about it.
And also, what about the kid?
That actually infuriated me. Butch Harmon is an absolute legend, so I'm not going to start bad mouthing him. And he's forgotten more about golf than I'll ever know. He's an absolute beast. But he kept going on about Zalatoris.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I say that correctly.
Yeah, that's a good name.
About how he's a kid and kept going at the kid this, the kid that, the kid the other. And let's hope he doesn't wake up because he realises what he's doing and he doesn't know the course, he's not got the experience. It's like, I get that to something, he's a youngish bloke.
And how old he is?
He's 24, isn't
24.
he? So he's as old as... Yeah. He's not far behind Bryson, is he? I don't think.
Well, Hideki Matsuyama's only 29.
Well, yeah. And he's new on the scene-ish, so I get that, but it's just a bit boring, innit? But I tell you what I didn't realise, but I kind of wasn't that surprised about what I didn't actually know. I had a look at Matsuyama on Wikipedia, and I think it's on... I know it's not always correct, but I think it's pretty accurate. And his PGA Tour, so he's played 170 events and made 145 cuts. And if you look at his seasons, he's so consistent with making cuts. He only misses a couple each year. And I think, although he's not a kind of player that I would massively be wanting to win before an event, I was happy that he won. He does seem like a nice guy, and his swing, I know it's got a bit of a pause, but it's a nice swing. Yeah,
he looks steady as a rock, doesn't he? That's what I really like about him. Spieth did an amazing tournament again. I can't believe he kind of came out of nowhere, really.
Well, I called him an outsider because we filmed the podcast early, and then he won.
He goes and
so I was like,
chuffed
he'd won, but I looked a bit of a fool calling him an outsider. But
Rose massively fell off. 7 on the front 9 and then didn't break par for the next 3 rounds.
7 on the first 18.
Yeah, 7 on the par, for the first 18. And